Hey guys, it is Tristan, and I wanted to check out something a little different. And Halloween's coming up, so I seen this and I wanted to actually check it out. There's 10 different little stories in here, and it's really good. It's DC's Cursed Comics Cavalcade, and I really enjoyed this, to be quite honest. Now, mind you, these were all short stories. They were all 7 or 8 pages apiece, but they all were really good. I really don't have a huge complaint for any of them. The first one was about Swamp Thing called The Spread. It was written by Tim Seeley, and the art was done by Kyle Huntz. It introduces the character Erin Wagner, her dog Venus, and then her partner Dutch. They worked on this antifungal agent. Well, this fungus attacks them, and Swamp Thing is there to save her. Well, it goes on, and it has this really cool picture of her eye right up on the screen now. He almost then, kills her and lays her down next to Dutch, and she wakes up, and he's kind of carrying her, and he says to tell her that when she wakes, he was not saving her. He was saving us from her. And I thought that was a really cool ending. They did a really good job with that. So that was it for the first one. The next one goes on, and it is titled Gore Hound. It is written by Gary Dauberman, and the art's by Riccardo Federici. I'm sure I said that wrong. Kind of starts out in the Gotham woods with these campers around the campfire and telling the story, like he's coming for you out of kind of thing. He pulls this ear out of the fire, and then it goes to the next scene, which is this girl talking about this Gore Hound and kind of giving him his nickname for all his killing sprees, like murder motel, sorority slaying. She's saying, what is this going to be called with this campfire? Is it going to be Camp Kill? Well, this guy starts chasing her, and Bat shows up. And he says he takes the tape off of his mouth, and he says that he wouldn't hurt him. Well, Bat says, I know, you're not the Gore Hound. So you think that this damsel in distress is just that. You think that she's a damsel in distress. Well, she looks in the mirror. She has this kind of like conniving look on her face. And you figure out that it is actually her that is the Gore Hound. And it goes on. She takes her to Arkham. It's kind of like, that M. Night Shyamalan twist. It was cute. It was short. I wish it was longer. This one was pretty good. But I did enjoy it. Right on to the next one. The next one was called Siren Song, and it's the Wonder Woman story. The writer was Vita Ayla. Yeah, I said that wrong too. And the art was done by Victor Ibanez. It starts off in Greece, and they're talking about all these men keep hearing this song, this Siren Song. They keep disappearing. Well, they found traces of bodies, but never actually found a whole body, so they can't identify who was who. Wonder Woman gears up to go. She hears the song, and she's like, how can something this beautiful be deadly? So she goes up to her, kind of starts to fall into her trance, but, realizes that it's just the game of a trickster. So she tells this story, this really cool story about how she was in love with this man, and he was married. Well, she had been in love with him since she was a kid, and he ended up getting married, so she was just this, jealous woman. She ended up killing him, and the woman that was married to him ended up walking into the ocean and dying just because she was that heartbroken. And she got this curse put on her that she was going to be immortal, be stuck in the sea. So she started killing men for this certain reason. And Wonder Woman ends up getting her after going under the water quite a bit and saves one. There was 3 men in the beginning that had died. She does end up saving just one of them and not able to find the other one. But I really liked this. I think this one was a really good concept just because of the small fact that it kind of uses that old sailor with the mermaids or the sirens. I really did enjoy this one. The next short story was probably my least favorite. It was Life Sentence, and it was with Guy Gardner. The writer was Porter and Rosmo, and the art was done by Placina. Oh my god, I'm so bad with names. So horrible with names. Okay. It was starts with Gardner, and he's talking to Zalek, and there's a distress call. My god. And guy takes off. He goes to this prison that's almost like floating Alcatraz, and they're all zombies there. And there is this distressed and distraught old lantern. And he's basically saying it doesn't matter if I die here. It's a dead man's wish. There's no legacy for a lantern. There's no funeral. Are you gonna have a hero's funeral or a unmarked grave? You never know with being a lantern. And I thought that was kind of cool. But Guy does end up changing his mind, and he self-destructs the ship and kills himself before Guy gets out beforehand. And the mission was successful, but right at the end, he goes into the next mission, and the look on his face is kind of just like, maybe this guy was right or maybe he wasn't. I don't know. This wasn't my favorite, but I do like the ending, how he was just like, oh, shit. It was good. The next one was my favorite. It was titled Yellowjack, and it was written and art done by Gabriel Hardman, which is seriously impressive. But it starts in New Orleans in the 1850s. Siobhan is the maid, and she works for a widow, and she's asked to investigate an odor. Well, her husband has been missing for 3 days because yellow fever's been going around. She figures out that it's her husband, Aiden, and he instantly turns into Etrigan. Well, she gets away from him, goes to this parlor house in search of Jason Blood. She asks him for his help. He says no. She heads home, and Etrigan shows up to find her. And then, of course, Jason stops and saves the day, and they take Aiden's body with them, and they go to the cemetery. And Jason tells them that he bound Etrigan to her dead employer 3 days prior, so Aiden must have been messing around with the grave or cleaning it or something at that point. But they perform a ritual to get rid of Etrigan, and Aiden comes back and goes to talk to Siobhan, and he's instantly killed by Etrigan. And this was kind of my favorite part, and I thought it was a really good ending to the story. He says, I did you a kindness, young widow. Unlike Blood, I understand his violence precedes his illness, being previously aimed at you. And I thought that was really neat. You had no idea the whole time that Siobhan and Aiden was an abusive relationship. But Etrigan knew from being inside of him and killed Aiden for Siobhan because he knew that if he had it, Siobhan may end up dead. I don't know. I just really like that one. That one was my favorite. So let's move on. So the next one was titled Strange Visitor, and Young did the art, and the writing was done by Vasiglio. But this starts in Metropolis in bed with Lois and Clark, and it's kind of this nightmare scene taking over Clark. They go wake up, breakfast, and the same thing happens the next night. Well, he's trying to figure out exactly what's going on, but the next night it happens, and this nightmarish figure takes over after Lois, and Lois just keeps saying it's sleep paralysis. We go through that happens. Well, he's terrified, so he sets up this omnisensor. I think I said that right. Sets up an omnisensor. There we go. Anyways, they figure out that it's Zadu, and he was the first prisoner of the Phantom Zone. So they go to the fortress and try to figure out how to get him. They're saying there's nothing they can do except for trap him into the Phantom Zone. And it really doesn't happen. This one kind of fell flat for me just because of the simple fact that there was no resolution, and there was really not quite much of a story here either. It ends with him looking at this almost lantern thing that you seen in the beginning, and that's it. That is literally it. So this one was my least favorite, honestly. I didn't think this one was very good at all. So we go right into the next one, which is titled Monster and Me, and Morency was the writer, and Watanabe was the art, and it's in Emerald City. There's a radio talking about this heat wave, so Green Lantern's in pursuit of this criminal, and he kind of gets this monster in vision of that he has, almost that looks similar to him. So then Dinah gets him. They talk about the monster in between themselves a little bit. This monster was with him also on the island when he was stuck, and almost helped him out, made him stronger, and now he's telling this monster he can get rid of it. But Oliver collapses, wakes up in this ice bath. Holy crap. And he chases the monster. He jumps out of the window and starts immediately chasing the monster. Well, it turns into Dinah. And it almost, to me, reminded me of Venomish. It looked very very much so like portrayed as a Venom character. But he kind of just stops fighting her. Dinah shows up, and that's the end. This was another one that wasn't very good to me. Kind of fell flat. There's a lot of really good Dinah and Oliver stories, and this wasn't one of them in my opinion. So I'll keep going to the next one, which is Mercy Killing by Brian Hill and Dexter Soy. And I knew this one was going to be good. Just because of those two names alone, I'm really excited for The Outsiders. So I was glad to see this in here. But it starts off with a kid afraid of the dark, and Black Lightning and Katana are together. Black Lightning says we should call Constantine, and Katana's like, no, not around children. He's not allowed to be around children. So the little girl just says she's here, like in a real creepy kid kind of way. And this character, I don't even know what they called it. What do they call it? The bad guy said, almost looked to me like Melina from Mortal Kombat. That real, like, the pretty eyes, but like that real, like, nasty jaw and mouth. Yeah. But it was cool. She looked really good. Much better than a Venomish look. But Katana talks to this monster about killing her because with her sword, she wouldn't be lonely anymore. She'd be in there with all the other side of the swords. That's why they call this one Mercy Killing. So she does. She literally just chops her head off and call it a Mercy Killing. Black Lightning ends up joining because there's more of these things around and they're taking children and they want to stop them. So at the end of this one, we get to see these two team up and go for more. So this one was really cool. I wish this is another one I wish that could have seen more of. The art was amazing, and so was the storytelling. So I'm really excited for The Outsiders. This just makes me even more excited for that. The next one was titled The Devil You Know, and it was Wheelgotts was the writer and Deuce did the art. It was Robin going to Grundy. Grundy was looking for his family. There was 3 girls that he had been staying with, and they needed help. He keeps saying that this devil man is torturing and taunting him, and Damien doesn't believe him at first, but then, kind of starts realizing how distraught that Grundy actually is. These 3 girls are runaways, and he's been taking care of them. Well, then you see Pig, and he takes these girls, and he wants them, make them his dolls, his normal thing that he does. Well, Grundy's scared, so Robin goes after him, and he gets tased by the Pig, and he kind of does this cute line where he says, I don't go to Chuck E. Cheese and interrupt your dates, talking about dating these girls. But then Grundy saves Robin, and Grundy thanks Robin for helping him save these girls. It's kind of almost makes you, and I'm not a huge Damian Wayne fan, so I liked this story. It made Damian more of not a jackass. But he says at the end, you are not a demon boy. Grundy will not forget this, and he leaves. And Damien just says, yes, you will, but I hope you don't. And I thought that was really cute. Like, this was almost more of the heartwarming story for Damien. And Damien doesn't have a whole lot of those. Sometimes he's just kind of an asshole. So I really did like this one, too. I think they could have went further with this one. So this is the last one. It's called Haunted Hayride, and it's written by James Tinian, and Buckingham did the art. It's these 2 brothers walking in with their sister buying tickets for this haunted hayride. And the sister's scared. Naturally, she's a little girl. And Zatanna's watching them. And they go back to this conversation earlier in the day between Zatanna and her father. She wants to go do something outside of LA and wants to go have fun. And he's just like, okay, I'll make candy big and we'll watch a movie, But she wants to actually go do something. So this is where she ends up in the corn maze, or the haunted corn ride. And Zatanna goes and sees that the boys are trying to kind of get on their little sister. They have masks, and they're trying to scare her so they don't have to do this and they can go do something without the little sister hanging along. And so Zatanna enchants the mask and scares the boys, goes to the little sister, and she says, picture whatever you think would be fun, scary, something that you would want to see for Halloween. So she pictures it, and Zatanna does her backward talk where she says, make it come real. And it does. And she closes her eyes, and when she wakes up, she sees all these, like, a really good picture on the screen of, like, these dancing pumpkins and skeletons, and it's really well drawn. And the brothers come crying because they're scared half to death, because, you know, the mask came to life and started yelling at him. This was another good one. I really enjoyed it. I think it was more family friendly. You know, that would be something that you could probably let a kid read. You know, that one wasn't bad at all. Okay, so now overall, this was really good. I really enjoyed this, and it was definitely worth, I think, $5. It was really well done. Some of the stories were kind of but there was enough good stories in here to make you want to, like the one with Jason Blood. If a story actually that I like it so much that I want to know more about the character, that's when you know it's well done. And Jason Blood's never one that I've actually been into, and now I'm like, wow, that was a really good story. I want to look into it. So that's when I know a comic book is good, is when you want to know more and you keep searching into that character. Wow, I cannot talk. I will see you guys next time. Bye.